what are the responsibilities of database administrator or DBA operations. So this is very, very important interview questions. Okay. Okay. The first one is that like we might all know that we have a three different type of DBAs: development DBAs, and then application DBA, and core DBAs or database administrator. So here comes under the core DBA or DBA. DBA. Right. The first important responsibility for database administrators are installation and configuration. So we are the core responsible for installing and configuration the SQL Server, and we'll learn in the next classes. And the second one is that upgrading or migrating. So when outdated version, when you're using the outdated versions, immediately we need to, as soon as possible, we need to migrate those databases to higher supported version. So we have other other situations also we can do the upgrade and migration. Later we'll discuss about installation and configuration, upgrading and migrating the databases. So these are the important responsibilities. And the next important one is that like all are important. The next one is that patching up SQL Server services. This is very important responsibility for database administrator. Once install the SQL Server on regular basis, we need to apply the product updates. Again, we already discussed about the product update. Like those we need to identify and we need to install on all our servers. Again, in real time environment, we are maintaining three different type of environments, like development environment, and then production environment, and pre-production environment. So first we have to do it, and we have to test in the development servers, and if everything goes fine, then after waiting 2 weeks or 3 weeks or maybe 1 month, then we need to go for the pre-production, or maybe we can call it the test or PA servers. And then finally we need to apply on the production server. So this is applicable for all kind of purposes, not only the patching. So this is very, very important, because when somebody is asking to do it on the production server, the first question we need to ask them whether did you test on the development servers and test server? What are the result of development and test servers? So if the results are successful and clear, then only we can do it in the production server. Right? If somebody is asking to do something on the production server, we have to ask this question. And if they did not test in the development test servers, we need to ask them to test it and provide the result. If the result is successful, then we need to do it production server. Okay, so this is very important point. Please keep in mind. And the next one is that database health monitoring. We need to continuously monitor our server's health. Okay, so we don't need to do it on the manual way, because if you're maintaining more than 4,000 databases or 5,000, so we cannot spend human. We cannot spend manually to monitor. So in many organizations, people prefer to use a third-party tool. Through third-party tools, they will monitor the server health or maybe any unusual events. Like it will automatically send the email to our email box by using the third-party tools, and we can work on them. And storage availability. So again, the databases are just staying in storage like this, and we need to also monitor the storage availability. And based on the storage availability, we need to take action to extend maybe additional storage. We need to add it. Okay, so then next one is that performance tuning and optimization. So and then general troubleshooting. So we can configure two different type of troubleshooting: general troubleshooting or maybe performance tuning. So general troubleshooting in the sense, maybe users are not able to connect, or servers are running down, like any unusual events happen, like apart from related to performance, we can simply call it as a general troubleshooting. When it comes to the performance tuning in the sense any operation is not completing within the expected time. Generally, our transaction completed in 5 minutes, but it is taking more than 30 minutes. Or maybe the second definition is that whatever operations are taking more resources to completing the operations, those also we can call it as a performance related issues. Right. So we are need to responsible for both kind of troubleshooting, general troubleshooting as well as performance tuning. The next one is the securing the SQL Server databases. So we need to when it comes to this point, like granting access to the users and auditing. So this kind of operation comes to the security. As I said that like we have three different type of environments: development, and then pre-production, and then production. Again, when it comes to the security, so in the development, without having approval, we can grant the excessive permissions or maybe full rights on the development server. But when it comes to the pre-production or staging servers, usually will grant the read-write permissions uh, by default on the testing servers or staging or pre-production. If they require more permissions, again we need to get the approval for granting the excessive permissions. And then when it comes to the production servers, usually we'll grant the read-only permission. And again, it's vary from company to company. So most of the companies are following whatever I'm saying. So when it comes to the production server, usually we'll provide the read-only permissions. If they require more permissions like write or more, any kind of excessive permission, then again we need to get the proper approval. Right? Without having proper approval, we cannot grant access, especially in the staging and production servers. Okay, so and then conducting auditing. So we need to conduct the auditing on yearly basis or halfly, and then provide the result to the auditing team. So those also we'll discuss in security topic. So backup and restoration. So this is one of the continuous process. Backups are taken on daily basis. Daily we need to take the backup and we need to test in secure location. And whenever there is a requirement to recover, generally when database is corrupted or maybe somebody deleted the data in the database. So those kind of situations we prefer to do the a restore, or maybe we can call it as a recovery. So backup is a regular, but restore is occasional. So based on the requirement, we need to do the restore or recovery, recovering the database by using the restore option. And the data transfer. Uh, Data transfer means transferring the data. For example, if developers develop the data in the development servers, they need to move those code or data to the staging servers or maybe production server. So maybe sometimes entire database or maybe sometimes only the specific tables or surfaces or functions. So so these kind of situations we have to follow the data transfer methods. We have five methods: import, export, script generation, then detach, attach, backup, restore, copy only. So five methods. So based on our requirement and need, then we can move the data using these methods. And deployment of SQL scripts. So this is one of our regular activity. And daily, sometimes on daily basis, we get these kind of requests. Because as I said that, so the developers develop the code, but they don't full access on the production servers expressly. So in that case, what they can do that after developing the code, after testing in the development servers and the servers, they will contact the DB team and they'll take the DB team help to execute the script. That they'll provide the code and then instructions. Based on the code instructions and code instructions, we need to execute the code on the production server. So this is very common, and every on daily basis we have this kind of request. Okay, and maximum uptime of servers. So and I missed the disaster recovery solution. So disaster recovery means to protecting the data. So using to protecting our data, we can use the backup one, but it is a traditional. Advanced way, if you want to uh, save your data, then we can follow the disaster recovery methods. Configuring the same replica of data center. For example, if all operations are happening in Hyderabad servers, if something is happening in Hyderabad servers, maybe some flights or catastrophic failures or something is happening, then we might lose the data. So if we want to overcome this kind of problem, so what we can do that we can set up the same replica in the different locations, like whatever location we have prepared, check here, like UK, US, or whatever location. So we have to maintain the same set of servers, and we need to configure the disaster recovery and availability solutions. When configure disaster recovery and availability solutions, what will happen? Whatever updates, whatever data comes to the other server, in the seconds of time, the data will be transferred to the replica server. So, so this is the one of the advanced way to protect the data, right? And the next one is that maximum uptime of servers. So Um, so that means we have a different maintenance activities like patching or doing some kind of configuration related thing. So wherever possible, we try to minimize the downtime. So that's one of the DBS tasks. And documentation. So documentation also important. Like many organizations don't prefer to have the documents, but having the documents is very useful because like whenever you do new things, installations or reliability solutions, better we can make a document because when you leave the organizations and new people are comes after by leaving the document, they can easily understand the what is the functionality. And again, known issues like whenever you do any new kind of issues, better we can make a document. When occurring the same kind of problem, then no need to spend time for researching. We can follow the same steps to implement it. So it's an optional, but better to follow the documentation is very important. So those are the database roles and responsibilities for a database administrator.